of how much the internet fucking imploded.
These were some of the best memes I have ever seen.
Oh my god, dude, you don't even understand. The meme pages were delivering like dominoes. The psycho fangirls were delivering like dominoes. Like, oh my god, what kind of drugs did he take? I don't believe it. Not Roman. Roman is upstanding. I don't believe it. I don't understand how Roman can get penalized for the wellness policy. He would never do that. He has a wife and kids to take care of. That was exhausting.
I have to admit, I kind of cringed a little bit at the tone he took.
That was really exhausting. Anyway, seriously, and like everybody wants to know what the fuck happened, right? Well, you're not gonna know. We're gonna be the first ones to tell you you're not gonna find out what he's been snorting, or what he's been injecting, or what he's been smoking, or what he fucking put in an anal bead up his anus. You're not gonna find out. You're just not gonna find out. You're not. It's not gonna happen. So get over it. Whatever the case, Roman Reigns was, quote, suspended for the wellness policy violation. And anybody who knows what the wellness policy violation is knows that it is 30 days without question. There is no tolerance ever.
Unless you're Roman Reigns.
Until Roman Reigns. The more that this news broke, the more I wanted to put my head in a freezer and slam the door. Repeatedly. So, the initial, shocking news of Reigns being suspended, following the wellness policy violation, it's been a long time since a top star has been suspended for this, and, most notably, people refer back to Randy Orton. Randy has been a problem since he started. And he was never, that, beacon of, virtue, and that beacon of, I'm a wholesome man who's just working for my family. He's not. Well, he's not that guy.
He's the kind of guy who at least admits that he has his problems, and he never tries to do something that he's not, and he openly admits, hey, hi, I'm Randy Orton, I'm a fucking jackass.
Exactly, and I honestly think Randy's one of the only people in the company who admits that he likes being a heel because it means he gets to be an asshole.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. And I'm just saying that because as a heel, I appreciate that. And so, Reigns damage controls and says, I'd like to apologize to my family, friends, and fans for my mistake in violating WWE's wellness policy. No excuses. I own it. End quote.
Cut and dry.
Pretty cut and dry. It later is announced that the WWE has known well before Money in the Bank that Roman Reigns failed his drug test.
I have never been so angry in my life when I read that.
So, usually, the usual practice of this sort of thing is as soon as they know, the person is just gone. 30 days, no questions, no tolerance, they're done. Reigns was able to work a pay-per-view as champion. After failing a drug test. Then
he was able to go on Raw after failing a drug test.
Yep.
It really sat there.
Yep.
The more I listened to this, the angrier I got, like I said, but at the same time, when you look at it, anybody else, had it been anybody else, Rollins, Ambrose, any of their other top stars, boom, gone. You would have never heard from them, they would have written them off TV, they wouldn't have said a fucking word. But it's Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns gets a pass because he's The Rock's cousin. I'm going to be the one to say that. It's literally, I agree. What it is. And almost like they cared more about the fact that, one, there's that connection, and two, it kind of saves their asses because they don't have to stop and think about their main event picture, and they don't have to worry about replacing this, that, or the other. But, I mean, it happened before when that whole Chris Benoit thing went down, and they had to replace him in a fucking snap over the ECW title.
Mm-hmm.
So why couldn't they have done this with them? Why couldn't they? It's even like in injuries when you have to instantly fucking replace somebody. How do you do that? You just do it. There is no reason why he should get a fucking special treatment. I don't care if you're man, woman, or a potted fucking plant. You don't pass that wellness policy, your ass is out of there for 30 days. Effective immediately. There is no room for special treatment because in this case, younger kids that have access to the internet are going to look at this and they're going to see Roman Reigns getting a pass and they're going to be like, oh wow, this guy's my hero, I should look up to him, so it's going to be okay for me to do something like this and I'm going to get a pass because Roman Reigns did. Yep. That's the image that you want to give to your younger demographic?
You're so high on this young demographic being the be-all end-all of why your product is PG, and you can't even hold somebody responsible for failing a drug test. A drug test. This isn't like he failed a spelling bee, okay? This is a fucking drug test that is required for your place of employment. Most people, like, in a lot of, like, high-profile jobs, even in, like, the standard job market, you have to take a drug test to even be employed. And they can implement random drug testing, and if you fail, you're fired on the spot.
Yep. No special treatment.
There is no special treatment. It doesn't matter if you are a cashier at a Lowe's. It doesn't matter if you are a general manager of a Verizon Wireless. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO of fucking Google. Like, if you fail a drug test at your place of employment, there should be zero tolerance. Obviously, I'm a weird person when it comes to drug testing because I feel, a lot of it has to do with marijuana use. I'm an advocate for legalizing marijuana. Obviously, for, medicine use and the like. I don't give a fuck if you smoke it on the regular just because you need to, have something for your anxiety or if you need something to calm you down. Like, I don't see weed as a drug. What I do see as a drug is cocaine, heroin, enhancement drugs. Like, these things, it's kind of a double-edged sword for me. Because, yes, some people do abuse the fact that marijuana is easily obtainable. And marijuana is not addictive. It is the action and the effect that comes with it that is addicting. Any other drug, however, has addictive properties. Mm-hmm. That's what separates drugs from marijuana for me. All of that being said, this has nothing to do with it. If you have a job that has these sort of routine drug testing for reasons, you're working with other people's livelihood. This isn't a joke. Like, you being of sound mind and able body is a direct influence on another person's livelihood.
So apparently the WWE does have on their website somewhere, I think it might be their corporate website, a list of the drugs that are under the wellness policy that you cannot have. But it's really weird because we don't know what Roman took, and I'm going to be the one to say it was probably marijuana. But even though it's a banned substance, there's other people on the roster who took stuff that were actually medically prescribed to them. They got suspended immediately. Mm-hmm. Case in point, Adam Rose. I believe he was on Adderall for ADHD, and they suspended him, even though he had the right to have it because of his condition, and he had a doctor-written note for it. And this is a condition that is long-standing. It's not something that you go into work and then you're fine and nobody knows about it, and then later on it pops up. When you're in a company like that, that company has to know every fucking thing about you medically, because it is an endangerment to you, it's an endangerment to everybody else, so they want to make sure that you are of sound mind and body. So, this is something that the WWE knew he had for the longest time, and yet suddenly he's suspended for taking Adderall.
Yeah.
Then Roman Reigns gets suspended for whatever drug he took, and he still gets to go on the pay-per-view. He still gets to go on Raw. Now he's apparently going to be, quote, written off of TV for whatever reason. And they still might actually have him in the main event at Battleground.
Which, if you look at it, at this point, if he is written out as of Monday, would he even be clear to, like, logically speaking,
they're not going to bring
would
up the
he be clear?
suspension, though.
No.
But from like a corporate standpoint, if they knew that he did not pass this drug test beforehand, his suspension would have started as soon as that happened, not when they friggin' announced it. But I'm assuming they're just going to go from the Tuesday they announced it.
So he would come back right before Battleground.
Yeah, nice and convenient, isn't it?
That's very convenient.
Just want to fucking punch somebody in the face.
Honestly, the whole thing is bullshit. And as you can very evidently tell, both of us are really irritated by this. And it has nothing to do with the fact of being an Adam Rose fan. It has nothing to do with being a Randy Orton fan. It has nothing to do with being a fan of anyone, honestly. It has to do with the fact that you cannot, under any circumstances, double standard in a company like this. Because the morale alone, like, no, you have literally just turned him from the most hated guy on television to the most hated guy in the locker room. And it's not even just the fact that it's Roman Reigns. Like, it's the fact that you literally are catering to this guy for whatever reason. Like, you're catering to him because he's a hard worker, or you're catering to him because he is under Vince McMahon's thumb, or you're catering to him because he's The Rock's cousin, or you're catering to him. The fact of the matter is you are catering to an individual, not your company. It is a corporation. It is a corporate industry. People don't make corporations. Period.
Frankly,
it is the corporation. It just bothers me so much.
I think the wellness policy is a fucking sham, because they'll take other things seriously, but I mean, the outlook of what they're doing here, it's not really a wellness policy thing. It's literally, oh, this guy fucked up, so he has to own up to it, but we're not going to own up to it ourselves because he made the mistake, and we still need him in the main event picture, and he's important to us because of who we know, and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't look good to the rest of your locker room. It doesn't look good to your fans. You're pushing this guy to be a face of your company, and he fucks up. I mean, even John Cena doesn't do this.
No. And you can love or hate Cena on a personal level, whatever. You know, we'll be the first to admit that we are not Cena fans professionally. But as far as him being a person, neither one of us have an issue with him. And, you know, for one, we don't know him personally, so we don't really withstand the right to judge him as a person, just like we don't know Roman as a person, so we don't really judge him as a person. We judge based on the professional level, and to be honest, if it was John Cena, I could see the same thing happening. Randomly, just, you know, throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Because it's John Cena. And they push these people down people's throats so much. But all it ends up doing is making people actually hate the person, not just the character. And that's really, really bad for morale in your locker room. And you can beat this until it's a fucking an absolute pulp. Like, you can just beat it into the ground. But there should be zero tolerance. Like, it doesn't matter if it's